Hey, second graders, this is Miss Davis. I am here to teach you guys a quick lesson about choosing a just right book. So our I am learning statement for this mini lesson is, I am learning to consider whether a book is easy, just right, or difficult for me to read. So when we are picking books to read, a lot of the time we focus on things that we're interested in, or if the cover looks cool, or if we like the author, and those are all really great ways to pick books, but we also want to make sure that most of the time we're reading books that are just right for us. Just right books help us to learn and they help us to grow our brains, but they're not so hard that they make us frustrated or angry or maybe tired from reading so much. And all of those things happen to me sometimes when I'm reading a book that isn't a just right book. So that's what that phrase means. And we are going to talk about some different ways that you can make sure that you're picking a just right book. So my friends, some of the characteristics of an easy book might be if you know all the words. So if you're reading a story and you're noticing that you are whizzing through it and you know all the words, that might be a little too easy. If you read it very quickly, like I said, if you're racing through like a cheetah, it might be too easy. You understand everything. So if you're reading a book that's a little bit easy, you might not need to stop and think about anything because you already understand it all. You may have read the book many times before. The more you read a book, the closer it gets to being easy for you because you're becoming more familiar with it. And easy books won't always help us grow our brains, so we want to try to read just right books as often as we can. So here in the middle of our chart, we have the just right category. So a book is just right if you know almost all the words. Just right books should have a few words that you're learning, and then you can use some of the clues in the stories, like the illustrations and the words around it, to help you figure out what that word is. You understand the book. So you should understand the book as a whole. There may be things here or there that you need to stop and think about, but you still understand it. You only have to slow down a few times. Kiddos, this is a big one. If you find yourself really slowing down, that book might be too tricky for you. But if you only have to slow down a few times to stretch out those words that you might not quite know, that means you're probably reading a just right book. And then the last one is you enjoy the book. If the book makes you happy, if you like reading it, if you learn new things from it, it's a just right book. And then this last row right here, kiddos, this red row, are some characteristics of difficult books. So difficult books are books that might be too hard for us to read right now. That doesn't mean we'll never be able to read them. It just might be a book that we ask to read with a grown-up or that we put on our book list and save for another time. So difficult books, you often have trouble reading many of the words. So if you notice that you're getting stuck on every other word in the story, it might be a little too difficult. You don't understand most of the book. Sometimes difficult books have difficult things to understand. And if it's not a just right book, you might get confused, which might make you frustrated, and that's not a good feeling. And like this bottom part says on the red row, you may get frustrated. So oftentimes when we're trying to grow our brains, but we're reading a difficult book, that can happen. We can get frustrated. So like I said, it's a great book to have a grown-up read to you, or you can read it when you grow your brain a little bit more and you advance a little bit more. So these are just some ways that you can identify whether a book is easy, just right, or difficult for you. But I hope that you guys take these into consideration as we continue to learn about picking a just right book. And of course, if you are ever wondering if you've picked a just right book, you can always ask your teacher or a grown-up to help you figure that out. All right, friends, I've had so much fun talking to you about just right books, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.